The Speaker Abbas raises alarm over Nigeria's 149 trillion naira debt. The Speaker of the House of Representatives, Tajuddin Abbas, has warned that Nigeria's debt profile has exceeded the statutory ceiling, posing a grave risk to fiscal sustainability. Speaking on Monday at the opening of the 11th Annual Conference and General Assembly of the West Africa Association of Public Accounts Committees, WAAPAC, at the National Assembly Abuja, Abbas described the situation as a critical point. Quote, as at the first quarter of 2025, Nigeria's total public debt stood at 149.39 trillion naira, about 97 billion US dollars. Wow, 97 my God, we've never had such kind of debt on our head. This presents a sharp rise from 121.7 trillion naira the previous year, underscoring how quickly the burden has grown. Even more concerning is the debt to GDP ratio, which now stands at roughly 52%, well above the 40% statutory ceiling set by our laws. End of quote. Barrister. Who is for God's sake, what is this speaker talking about? Where has he been? Is he not the one? Has he not been involved in signing all these things into law, all this borrowing? Why is he speaking out now? The first time, I don't know. Anyway, first, I was shocked that, because I know all these guys are his stooges. The Senate president and the Speaker of the House, they are stooges to Tinubu. I was surprised he had the courage, the gut to actually criticize this government that he's a stooge to. And secondly, my question is, where has he been? He has been part and parcel of this borrowing. He never opposed to it. He never opposed it. He's the fourth person in command in the succession of government. So what are we talking? What is he talking about?
Well, when we had the Speaker Abbas come out with that, he took everybody by surprise. Because first of all, and if you look at the comments that came after this thing, everybody is asking, who approved the loans?
That is the point. That's what I said.
External borrowing is approved by the National Assembly. He was there approving and approving and approving. And secondly, people begin to ask, is he now breaking free from Tinubu? And they remember that he was actually a Rufai's candidate that he sold to Tinubu when the going was good between Rufai and Tinubu. So people are beginning to ask whether he wants to break free from Tinubu, just like Rufai has broken free from him. But coming back to the debt, everybody already knows what he's saying. And you ask whether there's any other president that has taken as much loans as Tinubu. There's none. Look, by the time Buhari left, he had taken our debt profile to about 87 trillion. Now, in 2 years' time, and remember, he ruled for 8 years. In 8 years, he took our debt profile to about 87 trillion. And Tinubu has come, in the 2 years that he has come, he has taken it from 87 trillion to 149 trillion. He has doubled.
Do you think, now let me ask you so that we don't drag this in. Don't you think that all these successive governments, and especially that of Tinubu, what they are doing right now is laying foundation for perpetual failure for whichever government, whichever president that comes in future, into probably decades? Because even if a perfect person comes to rule, how can we survive under this tremendous debt, this heavy debt on us? Because all these debts, by the reason of these debts, all our national assets have been mortgaged because those are the collaterals. So because the international community, nobody will borrow money. Like I said, we've discussed this in our previous episode, that they are borrowing us money even when we are highly indebted. A lender can only borrow more money to a lendee that is heavily indebted already when the lender sees that they have what to actually fall back to should the lendee fail or default. So obviously what they are doing is mortgaging our national assets to the extent that successive governments or future governments will be their hands will be so tied that they cannot be able to do anything. So by default, every future president is bound for failure.
Let me say that this is the same complaint that Tinubu raised when he took power. He said that we came in, by the time we came in, the previous government had already mopped all sources of revenue. They sold the crude oil upfront, collected money upfront. So the crude oil that's been produced had already, the money had already been collected. So we don't have any avenue for revenue. We are forced to borrow money. And so this, if you knew that, you would devise policies that will cushion future governments. But they have tripled down, not doubled down, they have tripled down on what the previous government did that constrained them in revenue terms. They are doing worse. They are piling even greater debt.
All right.
What will the next government do when they come in? When they see that all our social sources of this year have already been mortgaged, what will they do? They will say, okay, we don't have any source of revenue. We are forced to go and borrow more money. So we are now properly entangled by debts.
Let's go back to the real topic of this segment. Now, coming back to Abbas, do you think that Abbas, just like you noted earlier, is trying to his statement was actually more political than objective, than reality? Do you think he's trying to break away from Tinubu? Do you think that the Arewa, the power block in Arewa, the influential Arewa block, have actually they are the one influencing him to do that, to break away from Tinubu? Do you think that there is a power play going on here, where the speaker is actually the Arewa, the northern block power establishment wants to use the speaker to fight Tinubu? And if so, you think Abbas will succeed? Do you think because I think the House of Rep, I don't see the House of Rep as completely a stooge to Tinubu as the Senate is. What's your thought?
The House of Rep has always been more difficult to control than the Senate in the Nigeria's history, because of the sheer number.
Broader
the broader representation from a more varied group of Nigerians. It has always been like that. Coming to Abbas, a lot of things are possibilities. I told you his own history. He was a candidate of a Rufai. It's a Rufai that sold his candidature to Bola Tinubu. So it is totally not out of the realm of possibility that he is bending towards following a Rufai. But at the same time, we also have to reckon that, look, some of these people, particularly when they are addressing international bodies or other interparliamentary system, most of these speeches that you see the speaker, even the president, Senate president, the president, it is written by them. Now, you are supposed to go through the speech and vet it on political grounds, on various grounds, so that it does not backfire. but once in a while they miss, either out of carelessness or some other things. Some things go into the speech that ordinarily, if their attention, their awareness had been brought to it, they would not. It's just like when the vice president spoke at the book launch, if you remember, where he said that uh, uh, when it was his time, the president took
Yes.
advice of the attorney general. He was speaking at the advocate's book launch, where he said the president, that Jonathan, took advice of the attorney general that he has no powers to remove an elected governor. And you could see the contrast, because at the time he was speaking, Tinubu, his boss, had removed a sitting governor, an
Yeah.
elected governor. I think some of those speeches are written and they don't carefully scrutinize to remove some things that will backfire or have political connotations
Anyway,
with them.
I
Again,
don't
this
see,
kind of things enter into it.
honestly, I don't see Abbas as someone, whatever is, even if he chooses to break away from Tinubu, I don't see him as doing it because of a Rufai. Rufai does not have a history of having his stooges being loyal to him. Look at what Ubasani did in Kaduna. Immediately, almost immediately, Ubasani became governor. He broke away from Rufai. So because everybody knows that Rufai, because you don't expect people do to you what you did to others. So everybody knows your history. I don't think that Abbas will ever be loyal to. Never, for whatever reason, will never be loyal, because anybody being loyal to Erufai will be a loser at the end, because Erufai was never loyal to anyone. So, and he will never be loyal to even you that is trying to be loyal to him. So I don't think that is it. But I think if there is any breakaway, it should be as a result of pressure from the north, from the northern bloc, not from Erufai. I don't think Abbas wouldn't do that for Erufai, not at all. I don't think so.
I agree with you. I agree with you that it may not be loyalty to, because I don't think Abbas is coming out to confront Tinubu. I rule that one out. Either pressure from the north to do something, at least show some kind of solidarity, even if it is small, so that they will not look at him as complete to his own
Yeah.
constituency, will not look at him as a complete giveaway, something along those lines. I don't think he's coming out frontally to confront Tinubu
Anyway,
anyway.
Abbas is not that type of person that the little I know about him, like some of you don't. I've had interactions with him. We traveled together for 3 weeks to different countries in the past. So based on I think on that trip, I think he was the one I was closest to. A sort of, so I had interaction. Abbas is not even in our meetings. Then we are holding meetings. Most of the countries we travel, even when we are holding meetings, Abbas wasn't he's not the talking type. Honestly, when he was appointed or elected as the speaker, I was surprised, because Abbas is not the talking type. Even in a forum, he really contributes to any meaningful conversation or discussion or whatever. So, um, and this is a surprising stuff to me too. So that's why I'm not surprised that it's a stooge to Tinubu, because he doesn't talk much. He's a very quiet person. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know if he's an introvert or so. Yes, I think I consider him to be an introvert, because even then he wasn't that. He wasn't mingling with enough too much people like that.